we are at the workshop of a elephant carver, where they carve very beautiful elephants out of wood and decorate them with various designs. So what's a design?
The word design can be a little funny at times. It could have different interpretations depending on the scenario. When you hear the phrase, "That's a great design," would you know exactly what your interlocutor meant by that? It could mean aesthetics, functions, or even both.
The word design has many meanings and it depends on the context you use it. And here we use the word design in the context of art or aesthetics. What does it mean? It means the arrangement of various elements of visual elements in a certain order that makes the beholder's mind happy or pleased or gratified.
To give a much deeper meaning to the word design, let's put it this way. Design is about giving meaning to something. It is all about creating an everlasting experience. Design is something more than aesthetics, and most certainly it has many notches above the planning function. That is exactly why the concept of design transcends a single discipline. It can be applied to web, mobile, software, fashion, industrial, interior, and everything else. In the world where anything could be built, it is a matter of understanding whether it really should be built. That is design. Design is something that elevates the lives and lifestyle of people. Design changes what is into what ought to be. Design is the way to build a better and beautiful world. However, what we need to keep in mind is the fact that everything is designed, but few things are designed well. Design is so simple, and that's what makes it so complicated.
But the term design is used in various other fields that are related to aesthetics, various other practices such as architectural design, interior design, fashion design, or product design. In all those practices, what you really do is put together or arrange these elements, the visual elements, in such a way that the human eye triggers a sensation or send a message to the human brain that makes it feel happy, feel gratified, feel satisfied. So that is what we call the artistic satisfaction that you receive through a nicely done, nicely made design. Now the world's oldest wood carving, dated wood carving, comes from the Ural Mountains in Russia. It was a human figure which is of about 2.8 meters high, has been dated to 11,000 before present times. But the well-known examples of very fine wood carvings come from the Kandyan period, which is late historical period, that is after the 14th and 15th centuries. And those wood carvings can be seen at the Sacred Tooth Relic Temple in Kandy and the Audience Hall, the nearby building, and other peripheral buildings. very special wood carvings can be seen at this very well known place called a building called the Ambeke Dewalaya at Yatinwara. In this process, the craftsman creates a mark on the piece of wood. Or, going one more step ahead, the craftsman would sculpt a figure or create a new shape out of the wood. The type of woods suitable for wood carving, there is almost no wood that can be said that is not suitable for wood carving. Experienced wood carvers know how to use any type of wood for their purpose. Dr. Ananda Kumaraswamy, who had done extensive surveys on traditional Sri Lankan arts and crafts of the Kandyan period, and we did these surveys in the early 20th century, say that Sri Lankan carvers, wood carvers, did not have the habit of making sculptures in the round. Instead, he says that they have mastered the craft of carving sculptures in low relief or mid relief or even high relief. In addition to the Kandyan districts, in the southern and western coastal area of Sri Lanka, and this was introduced by the Portuguese and the Dutch who settled here, who wanted to have their own houses built and their own furniture. So they imported their carpenters, and those carpenters trained locals. And as a result, the carpenters and wood carvers in southern and western provinces of Sri Lanka acquired great skills in carving and carpentry. So what you see today is an image of elephant carved by a wood carver in gold. The wood carving is a process. By this process you create carving, and at the same time you create a sculpture. You use the process of wood carving to create a piece of sculpture by changing the shape of the original piece of wood. But all carvings can be called sculptures, but not all sculptures are carvings. For instance, you can create a wooden sculpture by synthesizing pieces of wood together. Therefore, there won't be any kind of carving involved. It is purely a wooden sculpture. But in Sri Lanka, the tendency is that people recognize by wood carving or the katayama, which is only the low or mid relief work, which is attached to the base wood, but not a real sculpture. Mention must also be made that certain artists do the opposite of what traditional design really was supposed to be meant. What they did was they arranged artistic elements or visual elements in such a way that they broke the harmony, they broke the orderliness. Instead of orderliness, they created disorderliness and discordant. And what they expected was to disturb the human mind. Some of those examples of Picasso or Braque, especially the abstract artists, the idea was to create that kind of disharmony, discordant and disorder, and to kind of offend mind of the beholder of that work of art. There are several processes that carvers follow. Most commonest design process is that you make a one-to-one scale design on a piece of paper or a piece of cloth, and then transfer that to the plank of wood that you intend to carve. But experienced carvers sometimes do not do this preliminary design drawing. They straight away start carving on the wood or do the drawing on the wood rather than transferring pre-designed drawing on paper or cloth to the wood. But when it comes to the carving of masks or elephant figures like this, their experience tell them that exact size of the wood they need, and their instinct tells them that how the carving process should progress. Wood carving reflects some very important aspects of intangible cultural heritage of Sri Lanka. This is mainly connected with the knowledge and technology, the knowledge about trees, knowledge about the quality of timber, and various beliefs associated with trees, such as the beliefs that certain trees being abodes of deities, what we call the Rugdevyo. And there are rituals connected with requesting the Rugdevyo or the deities to move away from those trees before they cut the tree. Nowadays, sometimes some wood carvers do not follow all that because they buy the timber or the wood or the logs from outside, but there are still some very traditional wood carvers who go to the jungle and cut trees following all those rituals. The other aspect of cultural value lies in the carvings itself. For instance, now they carve these elephants and various decorations on top of that, or other kinds of decorations. All those things come from natural elements, and people have various beliefs associated with these things, such as the lotuses or the leavallas and that kind of things. You always have these. They are connected with various folk stories, folk tales, that also adds to the cultural value of wood carvings. We all know that before the emergence of the Industrial Revolution, everybody used handcrafted tools, handcrafted artworks, handcrafted furniture, jewelry, everything handcrafted. Those handcrafted items were used by people of all levels, like from the peasants to the royalty. However, when the machine took over the production of artifacts, the machines were able to produce a large number of artifacts within a short period of time. Also, it made the production process cheaper than crafting items by hand. And as a result, the handcrafted items became very expensive. Handcrafted items could not compete with the machine-made items in the open market. People began to realize that the machine-crafted artifacts are so monotonous and they do not have any specific characteristic features. All look the same, the same size, the same design, exactly the same, just like a copy of everything. Therefore, in the mid-20th century again, the popularity of or demand for handcrafted items began to increase. But this time, it was only the people of upper classes who were able to afford to buy handcrafted items. The unique character, unique quality of handcrafted items is that each item has its own character, because when you craft something by hand, you cannot make two items to look identical. And people began to appreciate the sheer beauty of handcrafted items, and as a result, today, for handcrafted items, there is a very high demand. So what the artist does is, as we said at the beginning, to put artistic elements or other elements in an orderly manner. And if you can watch those carvings and understand how the artist had created rhythm, orderliness out of chaos, that will help you to put your life into a kind of rhythmic pattern. The reason is that as I said at the beginning, human eye by nature is made to understand orderliness instead of disorderliness and harmony instead of discordance. By contemplating on works of art like wood carvings, where artists has created this orderliness, your eye triggers sensations, send sensations to your brain, the sensations of orderliness. And if you can comprehend, if you can contemplate on those works, that will help you to reorganize your disordered brain, disordered mind, and bring peace into your mind and achieve happiness, achieve gratitude, and experience pleasure, experience happiness in your life.